Back when they were getting rid of Splash Mountain, a lot of people said, well, why don't you just go along with it? Why don't you just, it's Tiana, it's a Bayou adventure, it'll be fine, they'll make something good out of it. And I kind of thought about that, and I realized that with Disney and with this current movement, that line just keeps getting moved over and over. And now I'm hearing that line is moving yet again with The Little Mermaid. Now, we've known that the marketing for this movie is crazy. We know that it's not the strategy I would use to attract mommies and daughters. But can you believe that they may actually start removing references to the original movie in places beyond theaters? Explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve. It's what we're trying to do each and every day here on the WDW Pro channel. And this is going to be a first of its kind. We are doing a double dose of Lorena Carrol. She'll be appearing on both of the videos today as we dive into some dismal Disney news where they are making some terrible decisions. Lorena, I wish we had some happier things, but we have done happy videos in the past. We've talked about how to save money at Disney World and some other stuff. Are you ready for the journey into bad decision making today?
Oh, yeah, I am ready. I've got my churro-flavored popcorn from Big Top Souvenir Shop, and I'm ready to go.
By the way, did you get a chance to look at what I told you about with the Imagineering instructions on the backside of Big Bad Pete?
I did not, because I keep getting distracted by everything in the sweets.
Oh, the sweets cabinet will do that to you. Sometime check that out. Make sure to do so. Okay, so Lorena. People are talking about the Little Mermaid movie, and they're talking about it for all the wrong reasons. The reasons that Disney, if they had any sanity left in that company, would not want to be the headliners, right? They would probably prefer them to be like Mario, because Mario is making lots and lots of money, and you would assume that Disney wants to make lots and lots of money, yet the actions that Disney takes are contrary to that goal. And so yet again, here we have from Deadline, from Armando Tinoco, I'm assuming that's a Latino name, Melissa McCarthy on the inspiration behind her Ursula in the Little Mermaid live action film. And it's going to go on to talk about some divisive stuff that is hot topic at this moment in time. And here we go again. The movie has been advertised so far based on specifically racial issues. It's been advertised on issues that the old film was somehow flawed, and now we're going into yet another of these issues that I wouldn't think that these things are the things that would drive mommies and little girls to go watch The Mermaid yet again. What do you think's going on here?
That is an excellent question, Pro. I think what's going on here, at least this is what it seems to me, is that they're trying to publicize this movie based on agenda rather than the merits of the film. Like with the Super Mario movie, pretty much it was, this movie's great. We had fun working on it. We hope you and your family enjoy it too. And left it at that. So what this tells me is they're putting emphasis on let's say a particular protected class rather than, is the movie good? Is it something that fits with the Disney, films of the past? Are you going to get, fond memories of the original Little Mermaid film?
I'm not sure they want you to have fond memories of the original. They keep sliming it over and over.
Completely. It's like they don't want you to think about, all the wonderful colors and all the wonderful songs and the characters and the lessons from the original animated feature.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to get into this article. Before we do, folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to the algorithms when you click it. We're talking about that notification bell. This is not just two people having a conversation by themselves. We wish that you would drop a comment down below. We truly do covet your comments, and we read them. We often respond. All right, so again, this is a Deadline article, and here's what it says. Melissa McCarthy, the lady who's playing Ursula now, looked to her origins performing in New York City under the drag name Miss Y as her inspiration for Ursula on The Little Mermaid. There's a drag queen that lives in me, she told EW, that's Entertainment Weekly, in an interview. I'm always right on the verge of going full time with her. To keep the humor and the sadness and the edginess to Ursula is everything I want in a character. And frankly, everything I want in a drag queen. Alan Menken, that's the composer for the original movie, confirmed to the publication that the animated character was inspired, and that's originally, right in the original film, by drag queen Divine. McCarthy also described her character in a unique way, saying she's the villain, but there's an edge to her. She's been in this lair. It's like she's had too many martinis alone. Her friends are eels. That is a woman who has seen it, been in it, dug her way back out. All my references are terrible, but I kept thinking many a Pall Mall has this woman had. And so she is going to be playing Ursula as if Ursula is a drag queen. Now, I don't care, frankly. I just don't care. And I don't care that the original was based on drag, if that's even true. And I think it is, but I don't care. What I care about is the marketing aspect of this, because I care about how this is going to impact the film financially. And for the life of me, I can't figure out how this strategy works. So, Lorena, do you have any idea how Disney thinks this achieves the goal of getting more people in the theaters?
It doesn't achieve it as far as I'm concerned, but I think Disney, in their own mind, somehow thinks that putting this out there with, let's say, with Ursula or Melissa McCarthy's interpretation of Ursula being based on her drag queen persona, I don't really see why they feel inclined to do this, except to say it's not about. There's this line that says it's not about the money, it's the message. You get that from the Joker, and it seems like that's what Disney is hell bent on. Now, I did know it was kind of like an open secret that the original Ursula, the Pat Carrol version, was based on a drag queen. That was an open secret. However, that was not something used to market the film. What was
Right. And
used to
Pat Carroll,
market
let's say this too. Pat Carroll recently passed away, and
yes,
she is one of the greatest voice actresses of all time. Her performance in that movie is absolutely fantastic. In fact, I would go so far as to say that if she's not the greatest animated villain, if that's not the greatest animated villain performance, it's in the top 3.
oh, absolutely. My favorite villain until I saw Ursula was actually Maleficent. She was
Yes.
my number one favorite. And then when I saw Ursula, Pat Carroll's performance was just something else. Me and my friends who fell in love with The Little Mermaid, we liked the songs, but we loved Poor Unfortunate Soul. Oh my gosh. That was our favorite song to sing from this film. But Ursula was marketed as the ultimate villain. And that's what you want to see, in these movies. You have not white, not dark, not light, not gray. You want to see a true villain, an unapologetic villain. And Pat Carroll just brought it with that performance and with her voice. And I believe that's one of the things that help not only sell The Little Mermaid, but make it the classic that it is today. So I don't see why Disney wants to harp on drag, something that is an adult thing for an adult audience. Why would you want to bring that up in a children's movie to market it?
Well, and things have shifted too since the 80s. What drag meant back then was a little bit different, because now it seems to me that there's 2 types. And I don't want to get into this for this video, but suffice to say that things have shifted in how that is viewed and what it means and what it entails. So we'll just leave it there for now. I do think that when it comes to Melissa McCarthy, this is just unfair. I think anybody trying to take this role after Pat Carroll, there's no way you're going to match it. I don't know if she can make it her own, but maybe that's why they're doing this. Maybe that's why she's advertising the drag aspect, is to take some cover, because how in the world are you ever going to do it as well as Pat Carroll did?
And it's a shame that that's the angle that she took. I would, and this is just my opinion, I would be more impressed by Melissa McCarthy if she would have said, Pat Carroll, she was an icon. There's no way I could top her, but I'm going to try to do my best with this role.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to go to another issue with the movie. This one coming to us from comingsoon.net. by Spencer Legacy. Not sure if that's the real name or not, but if it is, what a cool name the parents gave. The Little Mermaid live-action remake to feature changed lyrics. And this is probably why most people clicked on this video. And I promise we're going to get to the big news about this. But let's read the article first. The Little Mermaid composer Alan Menken has revealed that there will be some lyric changes in the upcoming live-action remake. While speaking with Vanity Fair, Menken was asked if anything from the original movie had to be changed or redone. The composer said that some lyrics were altered due to how perceptions of certain aspects of the songs have changed over 30 years. There are some lyrics in Kiss the Girl because people have, and pay close attention to this part right here, what he says, because people have gotten very sensitive about the idea that Prince Eric would in any way force himself on Ariel. Menken explained. By the way, that doesn't sound like somebody who is convinced that he should have to be rewriting his lyrics. We'll keep going. We have some revisions in Poor Unfortunate Souls regarding lines that might make young girls somehow, I love some of these words he throws in, somehow feel that they shouldn't speak out of turn. And then he clarifies, even though Ursula is clearly manipulating Ariel to give up her voice. So it reads to me like Alan Menken, he's changed these lyrics, but it doesn't sound like to me that he was a big fan of having them changed. And I would imagine that given that he wrote the original lyrics, having to change them, sort of castigates him for the original lines. And so you can imagine how that would be offensive. What do you make of this?
I feel speechless because of this, because I just don't get the sensitivity with this.
It's off the chains, isn't it? I mean, we live in a wacky world now.
It is upside down. Dogs and cats living together. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, because this reminds me of, I'll say, a quote unquote controversy about, the prince kissed, Snow White without her consent. It's like, that kind of needed to happen for her to come back from the dead, but forgot that part of of the story.
And Lorena, they're all mad because Bowser wants to marry Peach, right? That's what they're mad about now.
Yeah,
it's like the bad guys can't even be bad.
No.
Ursula has to change her lyrics so she's not such a villain anymore.
And that part upsets me too, because the whole thing about that song, Poor Unfortunate Soul, Ariel knows she shouldn't do it. Knows that she shouldn't, but Ursula is just so conniving and convincing. And Ariel, they act as if, or I'll say Disney seems to act as if, girls won't be able to see through that. Girls have been seeing through that watching the animated movie for years. We knew Ursula was dirty.
That's right. Well, I mean, what else are you going to get out of a bad guy or a bad girl? So
exactly. That's
so Lorena,
that's for the villains.
Over the past, I don't know, 12 months now, we've well, it goes back farther than that, really. There was of course, we know about Reimagine Tomorrow. Not many people have heard about the Story Matters group or Stories Matter group that's been working on changing things inside Disney parks, sort of going through there and making them pristine and pure according to their beliefs.
With the Jungle Cruise?
Yes, the Jungle Cruise. We won't go through the list, but the big one is Splash Mountain, of course. We all know that Splash Mountain, that was supposed to be the one where, it's antiquated and we've got to get rid of it. And people will like Tiana better anyway, so it's okay. It doesn't matter that it doesn't make any sense with the story or the movie, and so they're going to have to make all new songs and blah, 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 right? And so we were all supposed to just be like, okay, well, we'll take one. It's fine. You can have Splash Mountain. We'll give it to you, right? And that was the whole deal. Well, it turns out that just like I would anticipate, and you probably anticipated, that every time the line gets moved, the line keeps on moving. And so here's where I am hearing that the line is being moved. When it comes to The Little Mermaid, what I am hearing from sources inside Disney is that they're not going to continue playing the offensive songs, right? So they are rewriting these songs, updating them for modern audiences. And they're doing that because they apparently think that the old versions are offensive in some way. Well, guess what? Apparently, and I can't verify this yet. I'll work on it. I hope to be able to verify it soon and put it out there. But until then, it's rumor. But I'm being told that they are planning to phase out in most of the places you would hear the songs from the original movie, that they're going to phase those out for the new versions. And I just think this is never going to stop. I think we're going to continuously seek to rewrite history now and try to make it more and more pure for the current ideological beliefs that corporations have held on to. Do you find it offensive that the same place that has eradicated ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is now possibly going to eradicate the original Little Mermaid songs because they're offensive too?
I find it highly offensive. We'll just get back a little bit, like Zippity Doodah. They got rid of that.
Oh yeah, that's no longer relevant.
Yeah, supposedly because it's offensive. Well, I've never seen anybody freak out and say, "Oh my God, the song is offensive." Same thing with the Little Mermaid. "Kiss the Girl" was such a classic, we'll say germane to the plot song. And now they want to go ahead and change it because some people might get offended. I think a lot of this comes from the hashtag Me Too thing as well.
Absolutely. And, I guess the reason that I'm willing to bring this into video form is because, well, it only makes sense. If they're saying that those songs are offensive and they needed to be rewritten, why would they continue to play songs that they have stated now are offensive? That's crazy. And so when this was brought to me, I said, well, yeah, it makes total sense. And I'm working to corroborate it. But I want people to understand that this is never going to stop. They're never going to stop, because you can find offense in anything if you contrive it to be so.
It's just like, where does it stop? Are they going to, change the words to Hakuna Matata? When Pumbaa talks about gas, are they going to take that out because that might be offensive, to people?
They'll take Hakuna Matata out because that was cultural appropriation. Warthogs don't actually speak those words, you see.
I'm just so sick and tired of Disney being offended on behalf of people who aren't saying that they're offended en masse. It seems like,
that's right.
I tell people they're doing this to make themselves look good. Like, we're doing this great thing here.
All right, Lorena. Well, I so appreciate you coming in and giving your thoughts on this. I think it's ludicrous. I don't know how much longer Disney can continue to do this. We saw this out of the shareholders meeting where people are just livid. They've had enough of it. And it's amazing to me that the company would have had $1 billion out of this movie if they could just shut up and just give us a good movie. And they seem absolutely determined to do everything but. So, Lorena, thank you so much for being here today. You're going to be on for the afternoon video as well. It's again about Disney, and unfortunately, it's not any more positive. So we'll deliver that to people. We've got to keep telling the news as best we can and bringing it to them as accurately as possible. But Lorena, where can people find you on this great, big, beautiful web out there?
Well, folks, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitch. And of course, you can find me on YouTube during various videos and live streams about the Disney parks, the Universal parks, and more. And thank you, Pro, as always, for having me on.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure. It's fantastic every time you're on here with us. And I know that the audience out there, that they agree. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, and you can stick it to the algorithms when you click it. We're talking about that notification bell. Don't forget to drop a comment down below. We covet your comments. The Pro Show is Thursdays 5 to 7. That's Eastern Time in the evenings, and we're live during that time. You do not want to miss it. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Make sure to catch The Pro Show Thursdays 5 to 7 Eastern Time. Entertainment Explained, The Culture Curve Conquered, live with Pro and all his friends.